From far and wide, Oilers fans, this is Dolynny TV. Welcome back to another edition of Edmonton Oilers discussion on the channel. I'm Tyson, and guys, every time about this year, it seems like we sit down on Twitter, sit down at the coffee shop, sit down on the bus, sit down anywhere to have this unfortunate conversation in which it appears at this point, 41 games into the NHL season after the absolutely abysmal effort against the LA Kings last night, the Oilers have all but eliminated themselves mathematically from the playoffs. There's a lot that can be said and done in the past or next 41 games. However, the way this team looks, the way this team's structured, the way this team's playing, the goaltending we're getting, the defense we're getting, the lack of depth scoring we're getting, the lack of protection for McDavid, the lack of absolute effort we're getting out of the Edmonton Oilers on the ice is pathetic. And there you have it. That all culminated last night in a 4-0 loss to the Los Angeles Kings, in which, like I said, it's as simple as that. Playoffs, I think you can kiss them goodbye. I think it's all done. I will, however, try and salvage your guys' thoughts, but here's the problem. There is so much hard math for an Oilers team that has literally gone bang on 500 through the first 41 games. You know what? I don't buy it that if you keep Lucic, if you keep Tobias Reeder, if you keep Zach Kassian, if you keep anyone that has had the season they have had with the Oilers, not named McDavid, Draisaitl, RNH, Chason, Nurse, and Koskinen, there's some issues, guys. There are some big issues. Besides those guys, everybody has to be looked at as somebody who in the right deal, who in a bad deal should even get shipped. Honestly, like I've suggested before, if some team is stupid enough to say, hey, Shirley, we know you like getting taken advantage of. You want a 7th round pick for Lucic? God damn it, take that deal and get him the hell out of town. Like, for frig's sakes, we cannot afford to have, especially after last night, what an absolutely stupid game out of Lucic. Like, you know your team's in the toughest game of the year, and you play the softest game of your career in the NHL. You know what? Maybe he's had softer games by standards in Boston, but that was the softest game out of Milan Lucic, and I mean, he's had some muffins, but that was an absolute brutal effort. And to go after a guy like, come on. And the worst part is we all knew that game we weren't going to get anything out of Lucic to solve any problems we were having on the ice. So people had to turn to, oh man, Zach Kassian better take a run at someone. No, it's not up to Zach Kassian. Zach Kassian's getting paid low dollars. Come on, Lucic is getting $6 million to do what? Nothing? Nothing? Come on, guys. That is, oh man, brutal. Absolutely frigging brutal. So here we go. Let's get to my points instead of me ripping apart the Oilers, because I could do that for 10 minutes and that wouldn't be productive. I need to give you guys some stats as to how I'm going to back up my claim that it's pretty much over. You know what? Everything except for the math says it's over, but I'm going to use the math to say it's over. The Oilers, as of the 41-game mark, which was last night against the Los Angeles Kings, yes, granted they have their start of the second half today against the Anaheim Ducks. However, they're on pace for 82 points. If you're an Oilers fan, if you're an NHL fan, you know as well as I do, 82 points doesn't cut it for the playoffs. So, right there almost, you should be able to make your peace and kiss it goodbye. However, there is some positives that I'll get to in a second here that maybe if the math works, we could get there. Second wildcard spot, which is currently the Anaheim Ducks, are on pace for 88 points. Now that is the bubble of bubbles when it comes to an NHL playoff spot. 88, 89 points is about as minimum as you can get to enter the big dance for the Stanley Cup. That's sketchy territory. So even Anaheim, I'm not sold that they're making the playoffs just based on that projection. Now, first place in the wild card spot right now is the Colorado Avalanche. They are on pace for 93 points. Okay, that's now we're talking playoff point numbers right there. But that's the question. Do they advance into the division and somebody else comes down and makes it tougher for us, like a I don't know, like a Dallas or a Winnipeg. I doubt you see Winnipeg come down, but the Central is very tight right now, and Minnesota could make a push. We can't forget about Vancouver only being 1 point behind an Anaheim right now. It's a mess. Honestly, it's right now in the second wildcard spot. You've got 4 teams who are bubble teams fighting for a playoff spot. That's literally what's going to come down to. Colorado, I'm sure they've got a playoff spot locked up. If they don't, what a wasted season out of McKinnon and Rantanen, honestly. However, Colorado, like I said, locked up. So now you got Anaheim, Vancouver, Minnesota, Edmonton. Whoever wants to take the ball and run with it is going to be the playoff team. However, I don't think it's the Oilers, because for the Oilers to do it right, they would have to go 25, 14, and 2. Yeah, 25, 14, and 2 is what my math's sitting here at. That would give them a grand total of 52 points. So 2 points per win for 50 points in the win column, and then 2 overtime losses. That's ugly. Yeah, there's some room to be made up in terms of overtime losses, sure, but we're a team that wins a lot more than we do lose in overtime, so let's not take that at a granted point. So 25, that would be 39 games plus the 2 in overtime. That'd be 41. There's your extra half of the season. That's 52 points. That puts us just on the 93 marker. Like I said, if Colorado's going to lock it up at 93 points in the first wildcard spot, obviously we're going to have to be better than Anaheim. We have a plus-minus margin of what? 2 wins instead of losses? That's literally what it comes down to, because 89 points would be the minimum on the current pace to outdo the Anaheim Ducks. That's some scary friggin' math. This Oilers team, especially when they just don't show up and 1, 2, 3 goals go in the first period and the game is over, guess what? That's ugly. That is friggin' ugly. That does us no justice in terms of what Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, RNH are capable of, because how can they even get started when the team doesn't even show up on the ice until the last 5 minutes of the game, when it's like, well, we got our asses handed to us here, so we should probably, that rough and tumbly game, we should do that. What friggin' good does that do? I know, like, yes, I'm arguing there should have been more of that in this game against the LA Kings last night. However, they chose bad spots. Like, come on. Just going after scrubs in the lineup. There was no attack on Doughty that was sizable enough to margin what he did to Connor McDavid. So, this team, I just don't think they've got the guts, the heart, the power to do it. So, I'm sorry. I honestly can't see it happening. Like I said, I just gave you the numbers. I really don't see it happening. I think we kissed our playoff hopes goodbye last night. 41 games in, at least we got into January before doing it instead of the second week of December, but don't feel any nicer, does it, Oilers fans? It really, really doesn't. So, a couple of things we need to do with the rest of this season to ensure it's not a lost season. Obviously, Peter Chiarelli's brought in some key guys to this team and thought, man, you know what, I'm going to build a tough, big Oilers team that can win, especially given the skill of Connor McDavid. Lucic, Larson, Sekera, guys have not friggin' panned out one bit. So guess what? Axe him, get him out of here just for his sake as much as ours. Honestly, you know what? Hockey is a business, yes. But as a human being who's been through hardship, great times, bad times, everything, I understand where Peter Chiarelli is in, right? He's between a rock and a hard place. Anything he does looks like it's wrong at the start, and that's never a good thing. So you know what? As a human being, I'm saying, you know what? Get him out for his sake. Get him out for our sake. Let's part ways and just wash our friggin' hands. That's the Peter Chiarelli topic. I've already covered that. And this team needs to find goaltending because, you know what? Yes, Mikko Koskinen is fantastic. But the problem is, well, Cam Talbot, not so much. Yeah, sure, he was good in relief, but that game was already lost. It meant nothing. A good effort out of Cam Talbot meant nothing last night, and that goes for naught. But more specifically, we need defense that wants to play for their goaltender. That's the question. yeah, you know what? You can play as tough a defense as you want, but if you're not playing for your goaltender, you're not playing proper defense. And again, Mikko Koskinen, like I said, he's a great goaltender, but against LA last night, there's a reason. There's a friggin' reason he let in 3 goals, because his team didn't want to play defense for him, and that's exactly what cost him. Caleb Jones along the boards, Brandon Manning pinching. You know what? You can talk about Petrovic knocking that puck down right onto the LA Kings stick, but that started with the sloppy board play, so absolutely ugly all around on that play, not just on Petrovic. And depth scoring, well, dude, like I said, every single one of those guys that isn't named, the guys I named off the top of the video, yeah, you get rid of them. Get some guys who want to play. I already suggested today Brendan Peary might be a guy you want to look at. So, guys, I'm gonna let you go. That's enough ranting out of me. I'm very depressed as I just kissed the Oilers' playoff hopes goodbye in January, I think. As always, guys, I'm Tyson. This has been Dolynny TV. I will catch you in the next one. Have your say in the comments section below.